everyone, it's your favorite nurse, Abby, and this is the Nurses Vlog. Today I have a special guest on the show.
My name is Beja, I'm her daughter.
Okay, and we're going to talk about something super important today. We're going to talk about the 4 perks to being a travel nurse. So, Beja, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Nurse, like you.
Beja wants to be a nurse. So we're going to talk about travel nursing. Hopefully one day you'll be a travel nurse. So you got our list together? Okay. We're going to go with number 4. What's number 4? Experience. One of the big perks to being a travel nurse is experience. I get to learn lots and lots of things. Normally, if you're a staff nurse, you get kind of stuck on one floor. When I was a staff nurse, I worked on a telemetry floor, and it's kind of hard to get off of that floor. If you want to go work into other specialties, you have to find someone who's willing to take a chance on you and train you. Although you're an experienced nurse, it can be kind of hard to go to different floors. But as a travel nurse, I'm able to go work on many different floors. As a traveler, I've been on telemetry floors, step-down units, PCUs, intermediate care. I've worked in some small ICUs. I've worked in electrophysiology. I've worked on surgical floors. I've even worked at a cardiology clinic before as a travel nurse. I would never be able to get all of those different opportunities if I just worked at a hospital as a staff nurse. Along with those experiences, I'm also able to, when you go from different facility to facility, you're able to learn different equipment. So I could work at one hospital and literally we'll be charting on Cerner. My contract ends and I go to another hospital and we're charting on Epic. Contract ends, I'll be working at a hospital that is using Meditech. So I know how to use multiple electronic medical record systems. I know how to use lots of different pumps, IV pumps, different medical equipment, and that's invaluable experience. I get to work with different nurses from different regions all over the United States, and I get to learn what they know. So that's also experience you wouldn't necessarily get if you're just on one floor or at one hospital. So let's go to number 3.
Pay.
Ooh, pay. That's a big one. Travel nurse pay. That's why you should be a travel nurse. After you become a nurse, you're gonna be a travel nurse. Travel nurses get paid a lot of money. You get paid more money than regular nurses do, like a staff nurse. So you get paid pretty much double. You get paid what probably a nurse practitioner gets paid. So pay definitely is a perk. It's not our number 1 perk to being a travel nurse, but it's definitely number 3 on the list. If you want to know about travel nurse salary, please check out my other video. I made a video on travel nurse salary. I will put it down in the description section below. All right, so let's go to number 2. Networking is huge. Biggie. Okay, so I've been to, I don't even know how many different facilities or how many different hospitals I worked at in probably 5 or 6 different states. But I've met lots of doctors. I know cardiologists, GI doctors, kidney doctors, liver doctors, cancer specialists, all over the United States, literally. Besides just meeting the doctors and networking with a lot of different doctors, I know lots of different nurses, lots of nurse managers, lots of CNOs, personally know them by name, CEOs of multiple hospitals. And when you're networking on such a large scale, you never run out of work. True story. I'm gonna tell you guys a true story right now. So I was in San Antonio, Texas, and my contract was ending, and I didn't know if I really wanted to stay there, but I also, it was just last minute, my contract ended. I went ahead and called up the director from the last facility that I worked at, and before I could even finish the sentence, he was like, yes, we will take you back. So just like that, you can call up any nurse manager or any connection or people that you've networked with over the course of your travel nursing and get a job just like that. I can call any facility that I've ever worked at, and because I do a good job there, I can always get a job back there. So that's a huge perk. Networking is a big, big deal. And to know CNOs by their first name on a first name basis and be able to call them up for references and things like that is also a huge perk. So let's go to our number one perk for being a travel nurse.
No burnout.
No burnout. That is huge. If you're a nurse or if you're aspiring to be a nurse, you will know that nursing burnout is a real thing. Nurses get extremely burnt out at work. It's a very physically demanding job, mentally demanding job, spiritually demanding job. You deal with people who are dying and all sorts of things, very fast-paced environment, and you have to think critically at all times. So you get really, really burnt out, and the demands are kind of unfair. The patient loads can be very stressful. I worked at places where I've had 7 patients. Some of them are on insulin drips, all sorts of stuff. We're coding patients at least once a shift. You can get burnt out really quick. My first 2 years as a nurse, I worked at this really big level 1 trauma center. I won't tell you the name of it, but anywho, in Atlanta. And I was really burnt out by the end of year 1. I only been a nurse for 1 year. I was already done with being a nurse. I didn't want to be a nurse anymore. And I see the new nurses and they're all burnt out. By year number 2, they don't even want to be nurses anymore. I have not been burnt out since I've been a travel nurse. I've been a travel nurse for almost 4 years now. Well, a little over 3.5 years. I'll say 3.5 years. And I don't experience that feeling of burnout anymore. Why? Because the contracts are short. You only work for 13 weeks. Who cannot work somewhere for 3 months? 3 months is not a long time. Even if it's a bad place, which I haven't been at many bad places. Even if it's a bad place, you can just work the 13 weeks and that's it. You don't have a commitment or obligation to that place. You just don't come back anymore. Easy. Simple, right? So I don't get burnt out. And also too, I don't really kind of deal with all of the staff meetings and the headache and the politics that come along with administration and things like that when you're a staff nurse at a hospital. So burnout goes completely away if you're a travel nurse and you're able to kind of call your own shots. So we won't make our video too long today. We're gonna go ahead and end it. If you guys have any questions or any comments, please drop them down in the box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Nurses Vlog. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.